Tonight, consultation amongst the Port Augusta community to curb antisocial behaviour and State Labor's election promise to boost public housing in the Spencer Gulf.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. With a prolonged wave of antisocial behaviour in Port Augusta, the community is looking for ways to bring about lasting change. Stewart candidate Jeff Brock says the answers to the problem lie with community leaders who have lived through the situation year after year.
Stopping and listening to find answers. In Port Augusta, local Indigenous leaders have gathered to discuss possible solutions to the city's problems with drunken and aggressive behaviour.
So what I've been trying to do is bring all the groups together, the Aboriginal groups and non-Aboriginal groups, and to actually try and find out an avenue to actually, can we get a local solution to the issues.
Jeff Brock meeting with 3 different groups this week to understand why they believe the current Responsible Communities Task Force is failing their job to stop antisocial behaviour.
2 things, and then we had another discussion here today with some other groups here. The issue I've got is that the committee they've got going through the state government appears to be all orientated from Adelaide.
Saying Aboriginal leaders from Port Augusta and the Upper North should be consulted on how to create better living conditions at home so people aren't drawn to the city during the warmer weather.
There are 13 state and federal agencies in Port Augusta that have some connection with Aboriginal behaviour. How can we utilise their service? Because they've already got people here, they've already got the funds from the state and the federal. How can we utilise their service and the funds they've already got here?
Aboriginal people and mainstream society can get along a bit better. And some of it is about giving up a little bit of power.
We want to get it away from the bureaucrats in Adelaide and bring it back into the local domain here.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Isolation requirements for those who test positive to COVID-19 have changed in South Australia. Starting this week, the length of isolation has been reduced from 10 days down to 7, as long as no acute symptoms have developed. People who do show symptoms are required to stay the full 10 days unless they finish prior. The measure also applies to medi-hotels or supervised quarantine. South Australian Senator Rex Patrick is calling for National Cabinet to meet again to discuss rising petrol prices. In many areas across the Spencer Gulf, unleaded fuel has exceeded $2 per litre. That figure is expected to rise further as Russia's invasion of Ukraine continues. Senator Patrick says he's still calling for the fuel excise to be cut by 50%, with some coalition backbenchers supporting his plan. SA Labor has promised to build more public housing in the Upper Spencer Gulf to reduce pressure on the region's housing crisis. However, the Liberals have slammed the plan, saying families will foot the bill of irresponsible spending.
It's a major investment promise in public housing in the Upper Spencer Gulf. SA Labor proposing to build 750 new houses across the state, with some of them to be built in Whyalla and Port Augusta.
We are going to be building some new properties in Port Augusta and Whyalla, plus doing a significant number of upgrades.
According to the current member for Giles, there were 130 Housing Authority properties empty in Whyalla due to a backlog in maintenance. 3,000 existing public houses would also see major upgrades to bring them up to standard.
A lot of the houses are no longer, if you like, fit for purpose. We've got 3-bedroom houses on big blocks. We need to address that.
Local contractors also properly utilised for works if Labor is returned to power. The party emphasising housing is a basic human right and everyone deserves a safe and secure home.
There was 126 empty trust houses at a time when people were looking for accommodation. So the extra money for upgrade should help that, because it's a maintenance backlog because the budget wasn't there.
In response to Labor's housing plan, outgoing Treasurer Rob Lucas says the opposition has an appalling track record with public housing, noting the sale of 812 public houses in Whyalla and 342 in Port Augusta when they were last in government. Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
It comes as Labor one-ups its previous school staffing promises, saying the party will now supply each school with an autism specialist if successful in the election. Eddie Hughes has welcomed the announcement, saying it will finally give regional families the support they need.
Labor pledging more than $17 million to better equip schools for students on the spectrum.
To ensure that in every school in the state, every public school in the state, there will be a dedicated autism teacher expert.
The funding would mean every public primary school in the state would be able to hire a full-time staff member qualified to support students with autism.
This is about making this all easier and getting the assistance, especially in the early years of school, which is incredibly important.
It comes after Labor already promised $50 million to employ 100 additional mental health specialists across the state.
A $50 million program to recruit far more specialists to be able to assist our teachers in the classroom for students that are vulnerable.
100 extra occupational therapists, psychologists, counsellors, speech pathologists, because we know that teachers and schools have a really hard time getting the expertise that they need.
Labor says the influx of therapists, counsellors and ASD specialists would mean every child can receive support. The Liberal government pledging to continue upgrading school facilities if they are re-elected instead.
In ensuring that some of the old transportables that are in this school can be replaced with brand new, modern modular facilities.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
More on the election to come tonight. Stuart candidates share their vision for Spencer Gulf tourism, while SA Best promises better health services for senior locals. I'll see you after the break. Welcome back. With less than a week until the state election, the candidates for Stuart have mapped out their strategies to help boost the region's tourism. After 2 years of tough COVID-19 restrictions, our state leaders are ready to breathe new life into the tourism industry. Our reporter Christian Komenos has the story.
As the state goes to the polls this weekend, tourism operators will be eager to find out which party will benefit them. The Liberals would continue to upgrade the Southern Flinders Ranges, opening up opportunities for new businesses to make their mark.
But we're moving into forward driving opportunities as well. Regular camping, glamping as well. We're actually opening up land that has been closed to the public, unfortunately.
Labor intends to scrap the Liberals' plan of building a city basketball stadium. Despite not having a clear path on how it will boost regional tourism, the party says it is committed to spending $60 million on the industry.
There is a commitment that things will change. Things will change for the better. We are not investing in inner-city basketball stadiums for the benefit of inner-city folk. What we're doing is investing in the regions for regional people.
Independent candidate Jeff Brock says highlighting Port Augusta's marine ecosystem would attract more visitors to the region.
Some of the old bridges there, they've got some great ecology underneath that, including cuttlefish. Now, I didn't realise that, so we need to promote that sort of thing there.
The ongoing issue of the Port Tremaine jetty damage, another key item that will be addressed in the election.
This current government have not committed any money towards that. I'm going to be making certain that there is funds to repair that section and to get that tourist attraction back there.
And all the candidates are vowing to improve highway signage in a bid to increase visitor numbers.
Meanwhile, SA Best candidate for Giles is promising seniors will get free ambulance cover and car registration if he's elected this coming Saturday. The party says the measures will help the elderly who are struggling with the rising cost of living.
It's a promise aiming to ease the pressures of living for our region's elderly residents. SA Best promising concessions for aged pensioners if it wins the balance of power in the Legislative Council or as a result of a hung parliament in the House of Assembly.
SA Best believes that pensioners deserve a fair go. Right now, they're going to be confronted by rising costs of living, and we need to make it easier for them.
The list of demands including free full ambulance cover for those over the age of 65. In addition, the party would also lobby for free car registration and public transport, among other concessions for seniors, hoping the moves would keep the Spencer Gulf's older people engaged with their communities.
We're the only state in the country that doesn't provide free ambulance cover for our seniors. We'll also have free car registration for them.
Pensioners are very important to us. You know, they're the people that built Whyalla. They're the people that've got their families and their grandchildren. We want them here. We want to look after them.
The party is hoping its candidate for Giles is voted into Parliament this Saturday. Mr. Antonio saying he's ready to represent the community if he's given the chance.
I'm a hard-working person, and all I can say is we've made some strong announcements to look after our aged care, look after our hospital, our health, our mental health.
Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The No to Violence group is calling for an established police outreach service for domestic violence perpetrators in South Australia. The program would refer people who are identified as violent to counselling and support to help change their behaviour. Police officers would undergo extra training so they can also refer locals to the program. The proposal is aiming to keep victims safe, with the service already operating in New South Wales, Victoria and Tasmania. After COVID-19 ruined the chance to mark Mad Max 2's 40th anniversary last year, the Silverton Collective will be heading to the town this weekend. With many people looking to celebrate, there will be plenty for fans to enjoy.
Ready to celebrate, post-apocalyptic style. Fans coming from across Australia as well as America to show love for their favourite movie.
It's an opportunity for us to get together and celebrate the movie that we all love so much.
The group has been hosting a get-together every 2 years for the last decade. But when members were unable to have an event last year due to COVID, they decided to push it to this year.
We decided to push the official 40th back, and we're just having a little in-between get-together to just keep the ball rolling, basically.
Steve Scholes has been part of the Silverton Collective since 2013. He decided to head along after meeting some of the other members.
My first hookup with them was in 2013. Met a lot of them for the first time and discovered that there was an event going on and thought, I'll go and check that out because I love Mad Max.
Adrian Bennett, who runs the Mad Max Museum in Silverton, has constructed a replica compound from the movie for the weekend. The idea coming about in 2019, with the group wanting to do something special for the occasion.
It all sort of materialised on the same wavelength back in 2019. We thought it'd be a great idea to do a little thing to sort of celebrate it and do something special.
The event takes place this weekend. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Grants available for local youths passionate about the environment. And fun, fashion and horses will bring you all the action from the St Pat's races. Hello again. Grants of up to $1,000 are on offer to schools and early learning centres for environmental projects. The 2022 Woolworths Junior Landcare Grants fund activities which focus on sustainable food production and enhancing native habitats. Locals are encouraged to create projects such as a bush tucker garden, setting up a compost bin and restoring native habitat on school grounds or in the local area. Applications for the grants close on Friday. Thousands of punters flocked to the Broken Hill Racecourse for the 57th St Pat's races on Saturday. Sunny weather ensured people had an enjoyable day, with the annual event a major attraction in the tourism season.
It's the race that stops the Silver City. People travel from far and wide to enjoy a day out at the races. The weather conditions were perfect for people to have a punt or sit and enjoy the relaxed atmosphere. As always, the fashions on the field were hotly contested. Amber Welsh named Junior Colleen and Jeffrey Smith Junior Paddy. Emily Scott won Miss Teenager, while Amelia Bruggy was crowned Colleen of the course.
I didn't even check my number before we went up, so I probably should have done that, but no, it was a shock.
Adelaide's Iman Ghaffari took out the Paddy of the course, the first time he ventured to Broken Hill for the event.
I was very excited for that, but other than that, in general, it's just a great day, and Broken Hill was a pleasant surprise.
Once the fashions were over, the attention was back on the racing.
Come on, man. Come on.
Nathan Hobson trained Kazoom, which took out the Outback Cup in a tight finish. The second time he has won the Cup, with Alpha Origa winning it for the Swan Hill-based trainer in 2016.
It was a big thrill. We haven't had the horse long. Sort of come online, and my brother was keen to buy him. So he won a couple of years ago, this horse, Kazoom. So, it was good to see him win with Stacey Metcalf aboard.
A great day had by all who attended the event. If you missed out, be sure to mark it in your calendars for next year. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have all the results and scores from weekend cricket matches. And Alex Sykes will join us with the weather details. I'll see you again soon. Welcome back. Proprietary are this year's Port Pirie cricket premiers after batting their way to a thrilling win over Wandera. Prop skill with the ball saw an end to Wandera's chances of getting a three-peat. Here's Christian Comonos with this week's Cricket Wrap.
Port Pirie's cricket grand final saw two fierce rivals go head-to-head, with Proprietary chasing down the runs to win by 5 wickets. Props were able to put the pressure on early, with Tyler Thorpe snagging 3 wickets to cause a top and middle order collapse. Wandera looked like they were going to struggle to get past 100 runs, but Keenan Crouch and Mark Congdon were able to put 55 runs on the board to keep them in the game. Props didn't waste any time trying to chase down the target of 124, with opener Terence Pellegrini scoring 35. Reece Fowler and Ben Brown scoring the winning runs with 4 overs to spare. Over in Port Augusta, Centrals have batted their way into the grand final by beating Corn by 50 runs. Drew McDonald was the hero for Centrals, scoring a century to help his team get to 180. It was too many runs to chase down, with Corn all out for 130. Centrals will now take on South Augusta in this weekend's final. Central Whyalla is also heading into the grand final this weekend after beating Rupina by 7 wickets. Rupina looked promising in the first innings as they were 1 for 50, but things soon fell apart with a middle order collapse. 5 of their batters were out for a duck, with the side eventually bowled out for just 101, well below what they initially had in mind. Centrals cruised through their run chase, only losing 3 wickets, with Josh Ackland nearly scoring a half-century. It took them just 25 overs to seal the deal. Over in Port Lincoln, and Charlton scraped over the line against Waybacks in a thriller. Batting first, Waybacks had a disastrous innings, skittled for just 97 runs. Charlton didn't do great with the bat either, but scored the required runs with 2 wickets to spare. And the ladder leaders were stunned, losing to Tasman by 70 runs in the other semi-final. Southern Air barely making a total, with no player scoring more than 10. And that's all for this weekend's cricket. We'll be back tomorrow night with a wrap-up of the region's other sports.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather as we begin another week. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby, and happy Adelaide Cup Day, everyone. And thankfully, there were great race conditions today in Adelaide, but there were a few showers about our region. At 3 p.m, Port Augusta had a shower at 2 and was 37, while it was humid and partly cloudy and reached 34, and there were wet conditions for Kadina, 36 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, Port Lincoln was partly cloudy and 28, Broken Hill reached 24 degrees, Port Pirie was wet and 36, Cleve was partly cloudy and also 36, Adelaide was a partly cloudy 29, Clare had a shower of 2 and a possible storm 32, Cooper Pedy was partly cloudy and 38 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, thick cloud with a trough over western parts is generating a few scattered showers and isolated storms. A cloud band with another trough over central and eastern South Australia is triggering showers and storms. A short time ago, a severe thunderstorm warning remains current for a number of local areas, including Flinders. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. East to southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas around 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swells also around 1 metre. Humid conditions forecast in most parts tomorrow. Port Lincoln will be partly cloudy and is set to reach a high of 29 degrees. Cleve to top 33, Woodner with a high of 37, while Kadina both set to reach 32 degrees. Port Augusta will be partly cloudy and is set to top 35 degrees. Port Pirie also 35, Clare will get to 31, and Broken Hill will have showers and reach 27 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, those humid conditions continuing into Wednesday. Port Augusta will be partly cloudy and 37, Woodner and Port Pirie both to reach a max of 36, Cooper Pedy with a high of 41 degrees, possible showers in Whyalla, Port Lincoln and Kadina, mostly sunny in Broken Hill with 30 31 degrees there. Partly cloudy in most parts on Thursday. Port Lincoln is set to reach 24. Port Pirie and Port Augusta will both top 28 degrees. A possible shower in Broken Hill with 33, while it is set to top 24. To Friday's outlook now, Port Augusta and Woodland will both get to a max of 27. Port Lincoln will be cloudy and 22. Mostly sunny in Broken Hill with a max of 29. Port Pirie partly cloudy, also 29. And Whyalla will get to 24 degrees. So quite a hot one forecast for the middle of the week there, but it appears to be cooling off towards the end. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. I'll see you soon with an update. It's back to you, Ruby.
Wonderful, thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Monday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. We'll be back tomorrow with more local news. Good night.